Thank you for having me. Thanks for the invite, Omar and the management team. Good night, everyone. It's a pleasure to once again share with you in this fashion. I guess I must be doing something correct or doing something very wrongly for you to keep on inviting me to come back. I hope it's a farmer. And some of what I will share will be information that you would have already received because as the topic is managing your finances during uncertain times, it's kind of similar to managing your finances during regular times with a few different restrictions. So this is my first time presenting via Zoom, so stay with me. I'm getting on the old side. I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm going to attempt to share screen if the host allows me. As I said earlier, the topic that was suggested that I present on tonight is managing your finances during uncertain times. And definitely COVID-19 is an uncertain time. It's a pandemic that's affecting Jamaica, not only Jamaica, but the rest of the world. So these are indeed uncertain times, unprecedented times even, and having a grasp of your finances during this time is especially important. So the outline is pretty much differentiating between essential versus non-essential spending. Because managing your finances during these times, you want to focus on those essential spending and not that non-essential spending. All right, the second thing that we'll touch on is budgeting, but it will be more of a practical approach. I've touched on budgeting in the past with this group, so there will be a little pop quiz, me asking you some stuff about budgeting, and nothing to be worried about though. And finally, I will close with, speaking about creating a cushion during these uncertain times. And if you don't have a cushion like me, then, we will see how you can, create this cushion. So essential versus non-essential spending, right? That term, essential and non-essential, has been thrown about throughout this entire pandemic. People in their feelings, if they're essential worker or they're non-essential worker, everybody wants to be, for the first time, some people want to be non-essential because they can, stay home and work from home instead of going out and facing the COVID-19. Johnny not as fortunate, him definitely essential, so you have to go out. So with the essential and non-essential spending, there's a term, I'm not the one who originated it. I came across the term of, the 4 walls of budgeting. And again, budgeting during these, financial uncertainties is very, very crucial, very important, very paramount. I cannot understate the importance of budgeting during this time. Because as the topic suggests, or the topic is, it's managing your finances. Anybody's a manager in whatever field in the meeting tonight? I know you're young, you probably be a class prefect, you probably manage a group chat. If you're young, I don't know. Any managers? You might manage a fantasy team on football. I know, the volleyball.
Yes, great.
So I know that a lot of managers are here. So when you're thinking about managing, you have to put things in control to track, performance, track, where players are going, you track, the flow of the conversation. If it's a group chat, you control the class. If you're a prefect, if you are, a supervisor, stuff like that, you control, your subordinates and stuff like that. So when you're managing anything at all, there has to be controls, there have to be mechanisms in place, there have to be tools. And no different when you're managing your financing. Budgeting is a key tool in this management. And again, we've spoken about budgeting, so I'm trying to put a twist to it. Again, a quiz is coming up, probably like a 1 or 2 questions. And that's it. So we're looking at the 4 walls of budgeting. All right, so with the 4 walls of budgeting, as the picture depicts, it's pretty much, a basic foundation. It's just the essential, what you need in your budget. And in these, trying times, in these uncertain times, it's time where you cut the fluff, so to speak. So you'll really only be focusing on, 4 main categories. All right, it's just one suggestion of, surviving during these times or managing your finances during these times. And the four categories are, you put your food, your utilities, your shelter, and your transportation. Right? Your food, utilities, your shelter, and your transportation. And I'll just go over each of them. So with the food, we're talking about groceries. All right, for the people who eat a lot, it's just groceries. It's not talking about, going to the fancy restaurants. It's not, splurging and all of that. It's just pretty much buying the groceries, your needs for the period, whether it's a monthly budget, a weekly budget, or the budget that you're doing. When we speak about shelter, we're speaking about, allocating in your budget, for your rent and your mortgage, because, you definitely need a roof over your head. And basic clothes. Basic clothes. We're not talking about going on a shopping spree in Half Tree Mall. We're not talking about, being like Omar and living on Amazon every day. You're buying something new on Amazon. We're just talking about the basic clothes, just the necessities. All right, when we're speaking about utilities, we're talking about, the 3 major utilities in Jamaica, the 3 companies that pretty much hold us at ransom. JPS, the Flow, the NWC, and, working from home, you realize that, boy, they're not so reliable, but you still have to pay the utilities, them, don't it? Even when there are no service, you still pay these bills, and, it's part of the 4 hours of budgeting. It's, a part of life, we can't escape it. Flows in the news for outages. Flow might even cut off right now and the presentation cut, but, we pray against that. And it's part of the 4 walls of budgeting, these utilities. And next important, and the last side of the wall when you're building this budget house is transportation. And, working from home, sometimes you have to go out. So this transportation is just what you need to go to work and from work. It's just the commute to and from work. We're not talking about these road trips to Portland, these, flexes and all of that. Thankfully, with the curfew, we are kind of restricted in our movement. So that should be an easy part to fit in your budget. But even after the COVID, after this first wave, quote unquote, then, there's still uncertain times. So you still need to be mindful of how you spend. So even when, as Omar said earlier, May 31st, things are a little more relieved, you still have to be mindful of, transportation costs, food costs, and your clothing costs. Now we're going into budget is a 50-30-20 rule, right? But this, as I said, I presented this earlier in times of certainty. And now that we're uncertain and kind of juxtaposing, this budget with the 4 walls budget, you would really say that it's a 30% that gets eliminated. Anybody seen that? Because the 30% would cover your wants. The 50% would be allocated in your needs, and the 20% is the savings. So now that we're in this uncertain time and, there's a push to go to just essential spending and this 4 walls of budgeting, there would be some changes that would have to make to our customary 50-30-20 budget. You seen that? Yeah. So it's the wants, 30% for shopping, drinking out, and stuff like that. 20% goes to the savings, and the 50% goes to needs like groceries, housing, utilities, health insurance, car payments. So I'm saying that it would really be an 80-20 rule if you're going by the 4 walls budget as well, because the wants will now be non-essential.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. But as I say, it's a practical approach. All right. So these are just random numbers. So this is, say, a monthly budget for me, right? I'm not sure. You can see the figures, you can see the columns, the rows, the columns.
Yeah.
All right. So a budget does not have to be complicated. For those who have not started budgeting, it's a very Easy process. Pretty much it's just a way to track your money. It doesn't even have to be an Excel sheet. The Excel sheet works best because you can input formulas, so it calculates and tracks for you. However, it can be simpler measures. But I'll touch on another way of doing a budget after. Using this method, you pretty much start with your monthly income. You input whatever figure that is. So that would be, then you list your monthly expenses. You can just list the expenses as they are, or you can, for these purposes, I put it in the four walls approach where it's broken down in utilities, shelter, transportation, and food. So you know that if you have a DigiPlay that's on your budget, that falls under utilities category. And for shelter, that mortgage will fall under that shelter category. You're paying a car loan, that would be under transportation. So this is a way where you can put the different line items and categorize them in this four walls budget and managing during these uncertain times. This is just a suggestion. But going back to the budget, another feature of this is projected and actual, because things fluctuate. You can project that your light bill is going to be 10,000, and say JPS, the light bill is going up by 8%. You saw that news clipping? And when them say light bill going up by 8%, they really mean to go by 50% or a double. So, so whatever you project, the actual might be, vastly higher. So, having a projected column and an actual column is a way where you can better track, what you spend and update your budget going forward. You can even put in comments. I know that, in the advent of online banking, you might have, your reference numbers when you pay. So you can put your comments, it can be anything. It can be a reference number. It can be the date you paid. It can be, whatever comment that you desire. You can remix and adjust your budget to facilitate this. And of course, you can use some functions. I know you guys are Excel pros, so I don't have to go into all of that. And, that's the budget right there in a nutshell. All right. So if you wanted to adjust this budget from the four walls of budgeting to the 50-30-20 budget, right? It's pretty much, instead of the categories, what you would do is put percentages. All right. Yes. So if we go into the 50-30-20 budget, it's just manipulating Excel to get percentages. So say you want 50%, and then you would reorder naturally. So, that should be the homework. Yes. So if factor in all of your needs. So say you have your utilities and transport, all of that, and your monthly budget is 330,000. Then you know that your needs should be 50%. So that whatever those different line items, it should sum to 165,000. Rough math of what half of 330 should be. You following? So that for that category, that's 50% of your budget should be that. 20% in savings. I'm not sure if you stick to a 10% in tithe or greater than that, but whatever the delineation is, then it is pretty much is an Excel function is 0.5 times whatever cell that the monthly income is in, and then you sum the different categories into see if you're fall in line in that different percentage. But yeah, for the Excel stars, if you are not as versed in Excel like I am not, then there's a simpler budget. All right. Again, these are not my stuff. Random stuff. All right. So here you just have flow. This is done in a notepad. If you have a cell phone, there's an app. You can have notes. You can write your notes on your phone. You know that feature with your phone for those with the smartphones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So pretty much, this is what I use personally. To pretty much track as a spinner does, your text message anyways, you're on your phone anyways, you just take out the notepad on the phone and you just jot it down.
Oh.
And that's budget 101. You can pretty much track what you're spending. You know, you can, if you have purchased already or you have paid already, then you change the colors, you know, so you change it to red. You probably don't pay a tithe because, you know, you're waiting on church to start back, so it's in black now. So, you know, when you reach a church now, you throw your tithe, then, you know, you color that red because, you know, you paid it already. And vice versa, the next month, then you change from red to black, you know, stuff like that, if you get what I'm saying. You know, you have your savings, you know, the JMB, VMS, all of that. So this is an easier way of tracking. You won't have a monthly track of your spending, but it's still a way of tracking, you know, what you spend. As I said, it's a tool of managing during these uncertain times. So budgeting is not something that you need to be afraid of. It is encouraged, it is vital, and it's important to manage your finances during these times. So I would encourage you guys, as I said, it's just a download a note app. It's probably even an automatic feature of the phone, and you just plug and play your different expenses. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so that's a practical approach to budgeting. And another reason why, all right, but why should we budget? I'm here encouraging you guys to budget, but what are some of the benefits of budgeting and why is it important to budget?
For future events, it's just I mean, uncertain time, as the title is. It is yeah, for future events. Yeah, for life. It's a budget for life.
Thanks for that. Anyone else?
Do it because
why is it important?
Do it because
Not hearing.
They must do it.
I'm not hearing.
I do a budget because the wife is hell-bent on doing it.
All right, perfect. See them say whoever finds a wife find a good thing, you know. Awesome. Keep him on that budget. Because again, I know you're on your Amazon habits.
Boy, I'm trying, my brother. I'm trying.
All right. So yeah, budgets are important, and in these uncertain times, it's important to note that, you know, I keep seeing this status coming up, you know, that we're all in the same storm, and that is the storm of, you know, COVID-19, but we're not all in the same boat. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yeah, man. So we're all facing, you know, these uncertain times, but as you can see, I have Jonathan there in this big, you know, warship, you know, ready for take on the waters, well secure.
Bro?
Jonathan, man.
Yeah, true.
And then you have, you know, the rest of us, you know, in these different size boats, you know, trying to cope. So we're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat. So in these uncertain times, you know, budgets don't just help us to mitigate against, you know, the excessive spending, but it is important to help us to even survive. Because, you know, some of us may suffer no loss. And I keep picking on Jonathan, but I know that it's essential. So him not get cut for nothing. If anybody get cut, we. You know, we need the health workers. So you have some people that suffer no loss in this pandemic. You have people who, you know, may have their jobs, but they suffer a pay cut. Then you even have those of us who unfortunately lose their income altogether. So as I say, we're all in the same storm, but, you know, we're not in the same boat. So we have to be mindful of each other. We have to, you know, be there for each other. And no matter what stage, no matter what boat we're in, we have to definitely plan for these uncertain times, because the tides can change one way or another. You know, even that big captain ship can subside if, you know, you lapse or if you don't build up, you know, enough cushion. But, you know, that's a segue into the next slide. And, you know, easing how you create, everybody wants to create a financial cushion, right?
Right.
Who would say that they have this cushion already? Anyone? Don't be ashamed
The
of
cushion.
Huh?
It's not a cushion. It's less fluffier than a cushion.
It's a flat pillow.
Flat pillow.
All right, it's still a buffer, it's still a safety net. That's good. So after this, now you're gonna learn how to fluff up the pillow and put some more feathers and cotton in the pillow, right?
Let's see.
All right. So I'll close by touching on, creating a financial cushion during these times, because during these times you definitely need this cushion. And in the outline, I highlighted 2 ways. Anyone remember those 2 ways? All right, fine. The silence means that so this is the outline. These are the ways you create the cushion. You can see that. So what are the 2 ways? Are 2 ways that I'll touch on, because there might be others.
Emergency fund and diversity income.
All right. So diversifying the income, people having multiple income streams, multiple income streams. So that's a way to diversify your income. All right. So creating this financial cushion during these times. It's important to note that, again, we're all in different boats. If you have lost your job and you only have 50,000 to your name, then that's that 50,000 that you should be budgeting, because even worse, you don't want to spend unnecessarily. So no matter what stage, no matter what boat you're in, this talk is definitely important to you. So if you have lost your job and you only have 50,000, no more than ever, you need to, pinch that 50,000 and budget that 50,000 and know where each dollar, each penny of that 50,000 going, because, you've lost your source of income. If you have a source of income, then, you're not sure what will happen down the road. That's one. You also want to create a cushion while you're earning in case you've lost your job. So another reason why you should budget. So no matter what walk of life, no matter how the COVID situation has treated you thus far, budgeting and managing your finances during these times is very important and a crucial thought that, it's good that the Maranatha team has, decided to shed some light on. Hopefully I'm doing it justice. All right, so in closing, I will speak about creating a financial cushion, right? So an emergency fund is it's not, something that's new or unique. You've heard this term before, creating an emergency fund. And normally it is recommended that you have somewhere between 3 to 6 months of, your expenses in that emergency fund. And honestly, this sounds laughable, right? Because we're living for the moment. How many people even have 1 month put away, much less telling someone to put away 3 to 6 months in this Jamaica time, right? True?
True.
So before this emergency fund, it seemed like just, it's I wouldn't, for the lack of a better term, a myth, right? But with this downturn in the economy and, unemployment going up, you definitely see the importance of an emergency fund, because each of us are pretty much, if we have one stream of income, which most of us have, which is our salary, our 9 to 5, if you have one stream of income, then getting laid off or being unemployed and that income stream being shut off, we're one step away from, poverty, one step away from homelessness. We are pretty much at risk right now, being only having one income stream and not having this emergency fund. So the importance in these uncertain times of, not thinking about the emergency fund as a myth, but as something that is practical, something that is important. So in case of job loss, it's a way where, you have that cushion for 3 to 6 months. And this is 3 to 6 months of regular expenses. So worse now, putting all of the presentation together, worse now when you implement the 4-wall budget. So now your expenses has even shrunk a bit. So, you know, that 3 to 6 months money that you've put aside back in the day or you're going to put aside now might last you even, you know, 8 to 9 months. And, you know, during that time, you know, you can survive until you get another job opportunity or, you know, another source of income. So this emergency fund, while we have pretty much put it on the back burner of our thoughts before, much like a budget. It's like, oh, Kemar say budget, haha, not no budget. All right. Kemar get talk about emergency fund, cool. No emergency fund. In these times, it's like we're playing with not just our finances on our life, not having these things in place. And don't think, oh, I don't have the 3 months yet, or I don't have the 6 months yet, so I'm not going to start. You know, the journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step. So, you know, you put away that first, you know, whatever you can afford after you've done the full budget, and you know, you try save up until you have reached your goal. And you know, you'll be shocked to know that you know you've attained it because you have started. It's a way to, some of us are, you know, the breadwinners of our family. So again, it's not something to tie with our financial security and our financial stability, because it's not just our lives, you know, you have other people depending on you. You know, Omar said, you know, baby father at the start. Again, something that and I won't agree or deny. But you know, you have, you know, people depending on you. So, you know, these things are things that you need to put in place, not just for you, but for your family and, you know, friends, whatever, because there's even charitable cases where, you know, you see a brother in need, they can help out, they help out. So that's the importance of this emergency fund. And as the graphic depicts, you know, it's, you know, a shelter, you know, in this storm. All right, clear on the emergency fund?
Crystal.
Have it was something in the back burner before, you know, more ready and willing to start this emergency fund? You see the importance of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And again, you know, we don't know the numbers. I left it at 500 and odd. You don't know if the numbers will go up. You don't know, you know, the next wave. We don't know. It's really uncertain times, unprecedented. So while there is some sort of stability, while, you know, the economy hasn't shut down 100%, you know, it's no time like the present to pretty much create this financial cushion for what may come ahead. You know, it may not. And I'm not predicting anything, but, you know, it's just to be sure. It's just a safeguard. It's just, as I said, it's just a cushion. Whether it's a flat pillow, whether it's a little assack, you know, whether you're chilling like this man on a pool, a big stack of money, whatever your cushion is, you know, start. So now, lastly, another way to develop or create this cushion is to have multiple income streams, right? And this is the part that you guys would be interested in, and you know, the young people would be interested in. But this is the part that I'll speak on the least, because you should have to be, I am not a certified, I have to give the caveats and the disclaimers. I won't tell anybody to trade no Forex. I'm not telling anybody no stock tips. You know, these are risky ventures, and you have to be, you know, trained, you have to be certified, you have to, it's a way, yes, to diversify your income, but you would have to have the skill set and the know-how and, you know, do your research and market research to know, you know, how to venture into these different income streams. So again, it is an income stream, yes, but Kemar Parchment is not telling you to trade Forex and invest in stocks unless you have done your research. Clear?
Working as our advisor.
No, sir, because I am not certified or trained in nothing like that. Right, and I'm losing so much in the stock market, it's not even funny. You wouldn't want me.
No, that is a general thing right now. For everybody.
True. So, but yeah, these are ways where you can diversify your income. Whether you have lost your income, again, no matter what boat you're in this storm, you know, these are, you know, I saw the graphic and I say, you know, these are definitely 6 ways where, you know, whatever age, whatever stage, you can make money. And practically speaking, we see it in Jamaica right now. You know, I was at home today, want some food. You know what I do? Save crave. Anybody have that app?
No. Nope.
What? Alright, but you know about Silver Crave?
Yes, man.
No.
Yeah, man. I best thing since sliced bread, but I'm not in
Deliver
that.
KFC
I'm not shares in
and
the company.
Wendy's.
But it pretty much, yeah, explain it, Amar.
They're doing deliveries right now, I know, for KFC and Wendy's, I think, and I'm sure who else they're doing it.
Yeah, man. Those are just two of the restaurants that, they deliver to. Again, as long as the food that you're ordering is in the 4 walls budget, you can indeed go to Seven Crave. It's a e-commerce. Well, what would that be? E-commerce or online? I guess it's an e-commerce. It's one of those online stuff, and it's a way to diversify income. People, one thing about this pandemic is that we see that we are very creative. People are becoming very creative. I know I'm a member of Marinata Design Shirts, correct?
Yeah. Well.
So in this time, you might switch and design mask. People are buying masks left, right, and center. So designing masks might be an income stream that you can tap into, in this uncertain time. People might see a shirt probably as not an essential purchase, but a mask definitely is. So designing masks might be a way where you can diversify your income. Purchasing a rental property for those who can afford. Even though property market, again, I'm not advocating for that either, because the market there is still fluctuating. You'd have to do your market research. The general rule of thumb is to buy low and sell high. So whenever you see those indicators, then you can go ahead. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are some of the stuff. I've even seen someone advertising, hosting Zoom meetings. This is their business model, and people have their parties now because of the social distancing. You have your birthday party. You only can have people on Zoom. So you have someone who they're advertising, hosting, and coordinating. Birthday parties online. So that's a job that wasn't done before, and people are just creating ways and thinking of new ways and to diversify income. So they said that's a good thought. Yeah, man. So these are some of the things that we can do to create a financial cushion. Your emergency fund, diversifying income. Any of these 6 ways, you can even research other ways. Passive income, write book. But again, I spoke about passive income streams in the last talk, if you remember.
No, I wasn't there. Can say it again?
Wow, I put me on the spot now with this old brain here. No, passive income, the term is pretty much as the name suggests. Passive, you're not really doing anything, but you're getting an income. So you probably do something once, and because of doing it once, you've generated income, a steady income stream. So it's like writing a book. You write a book one time, and the sales keep coming in. People do blogs, stuff like that. Rental property, you buy the house one time, you rent it out to get money every month. So stuff like that are just passive ways of passive income, getting income for just doing stuff once, utilizing your talents and your skills. You sing a song, if you can sing or if you can write. I know that you guys are talented singers. You sing for somebody, you record, and you get money from the album over and over and over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, no problem. So on that note of you saying thank you, I will also say thank you to Marinata, and that ends my presentation on managing your finances during these uncertain times. If you have any questions, but that's it.